Hi, welcome to another video. Today our topic is Britain versus Spain, the Spanish Armada Showdown. Without wasting any time, let's get started. Part 1. Europe on the brink. In the late 1500s, Europe was divided by faith and power. Spain, under King Philip II, was the greatest empire of its age, rich with silver from the New World and feared for its mighty armies and fleets. England, ruled by Queen Elizabeth I, was smaller, poorer, and Protestant. Yet English privateers, led by men like Francis Drake, constantly struck at Spain's treasure routes. Philip decided it was time to put an end to Elizabeth's defiance. His plan? A massive armada to carry an invasion force into England and restore Catholic rule. Part 2. The Invincible Armada. In 1588, the so-called Invincible Armada was assembled. 130 ships, thousands of sailors and soldiers, and the Duke of Medina Sidonia in command. His task was to escort the Duke of Parma's 30,000-strong army from the Netherlands to England. The Armada would sail in a protective crescent formation up the Channel, shield Parma's crossing, and land the army. But England had prepared too. Lord Charles Howard and Sir Francis Drake commanded around 200 ships, many smaller and faster than Spain's heavy galleons. Their goal was not to bore the enemy, but to keep their distance, firing long-range broadsides to wear them down. Part 3. Clash in the Channel. In late July 1588, the Armada was spotted off Cornwall. At once, England's chain of coastal beacons lit up, warning the nation. English fleet shadowed the Spanish, darting in and out to attack their edges. For a week, the two sides battled along the Channel. The Armada held its crescent, advancing steadily, while the English tested their speed and longer guns. Finally, the Spanish anchored off Calais to await Parma's barges. But Parma was trapped, his ports blockaded by Dutch rebels. And as the Armada waited, the English struck with a daring plan: fire ships. On the night of August 8th, blazing vessels drifted into the anchored Armada. Panic erupted. Captains cut their anchors and spattered. The tight crescent formation was lost. Part 4. The Battle of Gravelines. In dawn, the English pressed their advantage. Off Gravelines, Howard and Drake drove their ships in close, hammering the disorganized Armada with broadsides. English gunners fired faster and more accurately, tearing sails, rigging, and hulls. Spanish ships tried to grapple and board, but the nimble English vessels always stayed just out of reach. Several great Spanish galleons were crippled. Though the Armada fought bravely, its mission had failed. Instead of shielding Parma's invasion, it was now struggling simply to survive. Part 5. The Protestant Wind. With no anchors and no chance of linking with Parma, the Armada was forced to retreat north. Chased out of the Channel, Medina Sidonia led his fleet around Scotland and Ireland, hoping to return to Spain. But storms struck again and again. Ships were smashed against rocky coast, wrecked in the wild Atlantic, or lost to starvation and disease. Spanish propaganda declared it the Protestant Wind, God's will driving away the invader. Of 130 ships that had sailed, perhaps 60 were lost or ruined. Thousands of Spain's finest soldiers and sailors never saw home again. Part 6. Aftermath and Legacy. In England, Queen Elizabeth turned survival into legend. At Tilbury, she declared she had the heart and stomach of a king, inspiring her people. Though Spain remained the great power, the Armada's failure shattered the myth of its invincibility. For England, the victory was a turning point. It preserved Protestant rule, boosted national pride, and marked the rise of English naval power. The Spanish Armada had been meant to crush a small island nation, but instead, it gave birth to England's destiny as a naval empire.